What's going on, friends? This is Cas, and we're back with another community tour. So I'm super excited and a little curious too, and you should be as well, because we're on site of what's going to be Georgia's first ever Barndominium community. We are in Barnesville. We have some treats for you today. So what we're gonna do is take a look at what's coming, as well as talk to the actual builder. If you've been with this channel or been on this channel for some time now, one of our most popular videos is the Barndominium tour that we did in McDonough, and we're gonna actually talk to that same builder, the builder that built that home, that Barndominium. And again, he's going to be with us answering the top 5 questions that we get about building barndominiums. So stay tuned, and we're going to show you what's coming, as well as just talk to him for a couple minutes about the top 5 questions we get about barndominiums right here in Georgia. Stick around. So before we talk to Chad and get the real scoop about barndominiums, if you've been thinking about building a barndominium in Georgia but stuck searching for the right land or the perfect lot, then this community may be for you. Welcome to Georgia's very first barndominium community designed to solve this very problem. Here's the kicker. This won't be your run-of-the-mill, one-size-fits-all neighborhood. They've shattered every single rule of building from scratch, and the way they do it will blow your mind. So let me show you just a sneak peek of what's coming before we learn more about barndominiums by talking to Chad. So this total community site is 90 acres, but we have 2 lots that are 10 acres each that are ready to go right now. You can build a barndominium here for a modern farmhouse feel, and the land is level and ready for your dream home. My favorite lot is going to be tract number 9. Again, it's 10 acres. It has a pond and a shared driveway that will provide easy access. An extra 10 acres is just right next door. It's also for sale if you need more space. So if you'd like more information on the community, getting a custom barndominium built on this land, or just buying the land and building your own barndominium, all contact information will be in the description below. Now let's go to Chad and ask him all about barndominiums, at least our top 5 questions. Let's do it. I'm with Chad here. He's with Brent Road Builders, and I know you guys have tons of questions. We're going to run through the top 5 questions that you guys have been asking about finally either building your own barndominium or buying a custom barndominium. So what's going on, Chad?
Good. How you doing?
Everything's all right. So the first question we got is just a little bit about you. Like, how long you been doing this? How long you been in the industry? Tell me more about you and how it relates to barndominiums.
Yes, I've been in construction for about 20 years now. As far as building custom barndominiums, I've been doing that for about 5 years now. Started off right before COVID.
Right.
Barndominiums started kind of getting popular on social media, and I've seen them popping up, and built my own at first. Nice. So I've lived in mine for about 3 years now.
Okay.
And it's kind of taken off from there, just building my own and people stopping by and wanting to find a contractor that can build them, and that's kind of where we started.
Awesome, I appreciate it. So what we're gonna do is run through the top 5 questions that we've been getting about barndominiums, and I know you're gonna help me out, so let's do it. All right, so the first question is, what is a barndominium? So we still get a lot of calls, and people are like, hey, I've never even seen this word before. I know what a barn is, I know what a condominium is, but what's a barndominium in your words?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different styles of how they're built. Some are built with the wrought iron, complete metal, which we don't do. We do the post frame construction. So it's basically, 6x6 or 8x8 posts that are connected to a metal truss. And then, so it's basically just like a pole barn. And that's kind of where you get the name barndominium that kind of, works its way in there with that. But after all that, it's normal framing in between your posts, the way that all your headers are done, your doors, your windows, how everything's cased out, garage doors, all that's done in between the post frame.
Yes, sir.
And then once you get into the interior side of it, everything's a normal build, except for you just don't have load-bearing walls. So that's why you get the really big, tall vaulted ceilings with no lumber or trusses or anything like that in the way. So you're able to manipulate the inside of it a lot different than your traditional stick frame built.
Gotcha, makes sense. I appreciate that. So number 2 would be, who's a barndominium for? So I'm sure you see different types of people, different type of customers come in. They're having a good time. Some, want the storage space or the barn aspect, the shop aspect, and some don't. So in your opinion, like, who's it really for?
I mean, it really, most of the calls that I get and people that I talk to, they want something that's kind of outside the box of your normal, spec home or traditional home with a 2-car garage, maybe 3-car garage. you know, the way that we can build some of these garages is pretty much having your own warehouse.
Right.
You know, you can put, you know, they're tall enough to put car lifts in.
Right.
Big enough to put, you know, 1 car to 20 cars, you know, just depending on how big you want to go with it. And then having your house connected to it.
Right.
Or either a breezeway that, you know, separates the two, or, you know, a lot of different styles. But yeah, that's a big thing. Like I said, the open concept is huge. Some of the tall ceilings, and then, you know, having the huge, you know, shops and,
Yep.
and storage units, you know, storage if you need it. And then, you know, having really big porches too. You know, you can have some really tall ceiling
Right.
porches, or take a, you know, far span 25 foot out, you know, if you wanted a huge covered porch, you know, all that's easily done with these
Gotcha.
type of builds.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's what I like about it too. You know, just how custom they are, and it could really be built to your specifications and what you want. But the third most popular question we get is, you know, why are they so expensive when built, and what are the pros and cons or differences between, you know, buying something that's prefab, that's coming from a manufacturer, versus, you know, just building on site, in your opinion?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is, I mean, custom is custom. It doesn't matter if it's called a barn dough, or, you know, a custom brick home, or you know, custom hardy siding.
Right.
Custom's custom. So, you know, you're having to get an architect to design the layout that you want to do. You know, a lot of times these are not small footprints.
Right.
So you still have a square foot price of cost that's, you know, factored in there. And at the end of the day, there's not a huge difference between building a stick frame home versus a barndominium. Right. I mean, as far as cost wise, because once you get outside the shell, everything else is still the same. You got cabinet, sheetrock painting, you know, moving the dirt, concrete, you know, all the things that, you know, come with building a home. The biggest thing that I love about them, and me personally living in one, is everything is metal. You know, you got your metal roof, your soffit, your fascia, your siding. You know, everything is, so there's no maintenance. I mean, there's no painting, there's no, you know, really not even pressure washing, because mold and stuff really doesn't grow on the metal. So, you know, as we get older and I get older, you know, there's less things I want to do around my own house, and that kind of takes away from that. Gives you more free time to, you know, enjoy your life, enjoy things, and not having to worry about, you know, this rotten or this needs caulking, and you know, just a little things
termites,
like that.
Yeah. All right, so that metal actually segues to the very next question. The fourth most popular question would be like, well, it looks like that piece of metal is going to be super, super hot in the summertime or freezing in the wintertime. What would you say about that?
Yeah, so on a personal level, I can tell you, I've lived in mine for 3 years now. We're a big fan of the spray foam insulation. I have that on my ceilings and my walls. We've done that on most of our builds. There's been a few where we didn't do in the wall cavities, but definitely on your roofs. So once you put that spray foam in, I mean, they're locked in. You know, there's not a lot coming through that. There's not a lot leaving. So, you know, they stay very well insulated. You know, it's my house before, I can tell you now, my power bill's cheaper than what I had before. And I think it's just off the spray foam. You know, and good windows and good doors, you know, just like any home. But, and a lot of them have the sealed concrete, which mine is too. So in the summertime, my floors are nice and cool. You know, it helps. So it naturally keeps the house cool. But even if you don't put, you know, just standard flooring in, they don't. I haven't seen that issue at all.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you like busting that myth, because a lot of people, again, they're like, I guess you're trying to find some reason to hate on it, and to me, that's one of the least reasons. Once, you know, you mentioned the insulation, the efficiency, and you know, no mold. I'm sure it keeps the insects and rodents from coming inside as well. So I appreciate that. So finally, last but not least, we're on site at a community. It's going to be the first barndominium community in the state of Georgia that I know of that's coming right here. It's behind me. I'm going to also throw up some drone shots so you'll see what the site will look like. And hopefully we'll get some renderings pretty soon. And you can follow us just to see how this area progresses over the next few months. But tell me a little bit about what's coming here and what do you think about it and why we should be getting excited.
Yeah, so we're down in Barnesville, Georgia. So we're going to have a barndominium community down in Barnesville. We've got about 90 acres here. We're going to have 10 different lots. We've got 2 5-acre lots that we're going to build some custom homes on it and put those up for sale and kind of see what kind of you know, feedback we get on those. And then we're actually going to sell the lot that we're standing on now is a 10-acre lot. Got a pond on it, and we've got another 10-acre lot across on the other side of the pond. just put in a beautiful, driveway that you'll see on some of the drone footages. Very private back here, very secluded. So you can, have your little homestead if you wanted, without having the big property.
Right.
You getting 20, 30 acres, there's a lot
Right.
of upkeep to it. So with this size, you're still in the private, in the country, but you're not having the maintenance and stuff behind the big farms.
Now that's absolutely fantastic. So I'm gonna put you on the spot. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but what price point should we be looking at approximately? I know you can't give me hard figures, but who should be reaching out if they're interested in checking out this site?
Yeah. So, we're going to have a lot of amenities out here as far as what I think you're not going to get from a normal buy is, every house is going to have an entry with a 3-rail system, fence. It's going to have a gate, nice landscaping. And like I said, you're going to have acreage on these. So we're hoping to be around 750 to maybe 900s, just depending on the size of the houses we, kind of put out here. Square footage wise.
Awesome. I appreciate it. So you heard it here first. Again, the first ever Barndominium community coming right here to Barnesville. I want to thank Chad for coming out and really answering some questions. So stay tuned. This is just part 1 of a series. We'll be following this build all the way through to the end. And again, I just want to appreciate Chad. Thanks again.
Yes, sir.
All right, peace. Yep. So we want to thank Chad of Brent Road Builders for allowing us to come through and tour this property. This is just part 1 of the series where we'll follow the build from start to finish. Subscribe and never miss an update. And if you're looking to buy or sell in the metro Atlanta area, all of my contact information as well as the information about this property will be available in the description below. Now, let's take a look at the rest of the property.